All
The
right.
Bondi screw-ups don't stop there because they keep on going. The other big screw-up sheets is screwed up the January 6th case, screwed up the pipe bomber case, screwed up the assassination cases documented and detailed by Tucker Carlson. The things are all trying to pretend aren't really there. The screwed up the Epstein files. Screwed up the big pharma case. She is covering for Pfizer. She received hundreds of thousands of dollars from Pfizer. And as soon as she got in, she shut down any case against Pfizer.
Just an important detail. She got $200,000+ in 1 year in 2021 for legal services. So you can put all of those timelines together.
Right. No, she was being hired by Pfizer. At the time, Pfizer was facing a major legal risk over its COVID vaccine, both domestically and internationally. She comes in and she shuts down all the investigations into foreign corruption, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act concerning Pfizer. Then she turns around and supports the lies the Biden administration told in the Brooke Jackson case. She makes sure the people running the civil appellate division, Yakov Roth as the assistant attorney general, and then his boss, both of them come from big corporate law firms. Both of them represented big pharma for many, many years. And so what are they doing in the Brooke Jackson case, the big case that could bring reconciliation to the COVID issue for the Trump voting constituency, that could bring remedy to the vaccine injured, that could bring accountability to those that lied about the COVID vaccine, that could bring deterrence for this ever happening again. They take the Biden administration side by lying to the courts and saying the official position of the Trump administration at the Health and Human Services Department, the Food and Drug Administration, is identical to the position that the Biden administration took, which, for those that don't remember, Brooke Jackson is the whistleblower who had spent decades working in the pharmaceutical space, including especially the clinical testing space. She was monitoring the clinical testing for the COVID-19 vaccine. She saw the worst, most egregious violations of clinical testing standards she had ever seen or even heard about in her life. She goes, and this is in 2020, she goes to the Justice Department. She discloses it in detail. They tell her, we're right on it. We're gonna stop this. While instead covering it up. While instead hiding it and lying to her all the way through. She figures out they're lying to her when they're about to announce a COVID vaccine shot to be mandated for 6-month-olds. She hires other counsel, including me. We legally we're able to go through a process where she can go public with the information. She does go public with the information once it's legally permitted to do so, and in the process, basically saves the lives of millions and millions of people around the world, because the word gets out the COVID vaccine is not safe, is not effective. Her Ketam case brought on the behalf of the American people, where she said that if we recover billions of dollars, she's going to put all of those billions of dollars aside for the vaccine injured, goes forward. And the Justice Department steps in at the last minute when it looks like we're finally going to get to the discovery stage of the case, which we've been prohibited from getting to, and says, Judge, you cannot let this case go forward. It is the official. Go ahead.
It was 2 years after the suit was instituted.
Oh, yeah, 2 years after the suit has been brought. They come forward, actually 3 years fully at this final hearing, and they said where we had not been allowed any discovery, and the Biden administration comes in and says you cannot question or challenge the COVID vaccine because that is our official policy, is not to challenge any vaccine, period. So the judge on those grounds dismissed, even though what we proved in the case was that the COVID vaccine was promised to the Trump administration under contractual law in exchange for billions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money, a safe, effective vaccine for the prevention of COVID-19, not a therapeutic that might help. And what they delivered was a dangerous, ineffective, not a vaccine that didn't prevent COVID-19. They breached the very four predicates for the deliverable. As such, that was fraud in the form of billions of dollars, that the American people should be restored by Pfizer, the biggest criminally fined individual or organization in the history of man is Pfizer. And so it goes up to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Trump gets elected. And the assumption is Trump administration will come in and announce, as Robert Kennedy did at Secretary of Health and Human Services, as Markey and others did at FDA and the CDC, and said, our position is no longer that this vaccine is beyond reproach, beyond second guessing, beyond questioning, that we have doubts about mRNA platform as a vaccine. Robert Malone is now brought into the Vaccine Advisory Committee. So there's clearly been a complete reversal in the public position of the Trump administration from the Biden administration within the health authorities. And yet, Pam Bondi and the people that run the civil appellate division, including Yankoff Roth, go and lie to the federal courts and say no position has changed. And that is why we have oral arguments scheduled for the first week of December in New Orleans before the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, where the Justice Department will continue to lie to the court about the official position because pay-for-play Pam Bondi is protecting Pfizer at all costs.
This is Pam Bondi, who represented Pfizer during the relevant period, now refusing to reinstitute or maintaining the quashing of the Ketam case. Robert, I mentioned it last week when I really first appreciated this. How the hell is she not conflicted out of doing anything in this? And how the hell is a special, whatever you want to call it, special attorney?
A lot of them. I mean, the problem is the entire Justice Department is filled with big pharma people. So, and is it a coincidence that I understand certain people in the cabinet want to tell me that Swampy Susie Wiles is not swampy at all and she's really out there for Maha? Well, let's see some evidence.
One last thing, just to hammer home the Pfizer bullcrap trials. I had on Maddie DeGarry's parents back in the day when the children, when they were testing it on kids, 400 kids, I think was the total pool. And when Maddie DeGarry got, I forget what it was, transverse myelitis, or it wasn't Guillain-Barré syndrome, but when she got neurological damage, they removed her from the study, said she had a stomach ache, or what do they call it? Functional stomach ache, something along those lines, and basically removed that vaccine injury from the trials to claim that it was safe and effective on children. And so it's hard not to get blackpilled, Robert, because seeing what's going on with Pam Bondi in all respects. What's the Second Amendment?